All right. Well, we got another movie that's kind of different about a Doctor Dolittle, the newest one, or Doolittle. It's not. It's Robert Downey Jr. as Doolittle. It's not Doctor Doolittle. It's just Doolittle. You know, it's kind of the same preference as Doctor Doolittle, but it's Doolittle. It's also referred as the Voyage of Doolittle, but I've got the Doolittle. Robert Downey Jr.'s Doolittle. So apparently, so when this one starts out, it's in England. Doolittle is hiding away in his little castle the Queen gave him. Queen Victoria gave him when he fixed her animals and took care of her animals and gave him a place to be medical care. And the way Doolittle gets into it, a kid's out hunting with his dad and shoots a little squirrel and doesn't want to finish it off, so he takes it to Doolittle because they've been hearing rumors about him. Gets trapped on the way in. All the monkeys and all the animals greet him, not knowing how to talk to him, but they greet him anyway. Then we get a talking parrot that translates for everybody, and then at this one, Doolittle already knows how to talk to the animals. So he's got long braided hair, and up here, and mice and stuff crawling in and out of his hair. And he's talking to them. They're hiding away, and where'd you go, and all that fun stuff. And got a big scared ape monkey that's scared, and so Doctor Doolittle's got to go find. Um, gets dispatched to Queen Victoria with a young lady because Queen Victoria had an accident and she was poisoned or sick, and Doctor Dolittle went to help Sirius and agrees to see Victoria in her residence and loses therapy as the Queen dies. So he figured out what the illness is. Then Doolittle's got to travel to this to find the special plant that only grows one place on the earth, and his true love went to find it, and she never came back. And it turns out he's got to go through all these hoops. His boat gets sunk. They sail off with all the animals, and he gets whales to help him push the boat when he gets away from the England warships or the British warships, or however you want to say it. It really turned out to be a pretty good movie. It's funny. It's good for kids, and um, Robert Downey Jr. did okay in it, but I think he could have done a little better job with the some of the parts that he did in it. But it was still a good movie. It's not his usual thing. He's not Iron Man this time. But they hooking up to the whales to get a little more speed out of a sailboat. It's kind of interesting with no motor. Then he gets to a special island where there's tigers and lions, and the king wants to kill everybody with putting them in the cage with the lions. Apparently, Doctor Dolittle, fiance or wife that did the trip before him, she came from that island, and the king was his father-in-law, I guess would be the best thing. So he wants to punish him for leaving the island with her. And all the animals and everything went in disrepair, and Doolittle gave up once because he got beaten at the island. He's going to open up shop there and make more money. Then the king came and gave him a new boat because the British sunk his other boat. Yeah, it turned out to be an interesting thing, and my nose keeps itching. I don't know why. But it turns out that he got the boat, and then he went and drifted to the island after a storm. There's always a storm. Then the next thing you know, he has to fight a dragon, work with a dragon, talk to a dragon. They fight with a dragon trying to find this bloom to fix the queen, and the British warship leader is trying to stop him from getting the bloom to fix the queen or heal the queen or save the queen. So the dragon fights, and they figure out that the dragon's lost somebody, and Doolittle talks to him, and it turns out that they got something in common, which is kind of interesting how that works. And so they do a little operation on the dragon, and then the dragon shows them where the bloom is, and then they sail back, and Dr. Dolittle not only fixes the queen at the end, happily ever after, but he also found out who the culprit is that poisoned her, and been poisoning her since he left. And with all the animals, he talks to stick bugs and underwater creatures, octopus, other animals that are hanging around with the queen. And when she does wake up a few minutes after getting the juice from the flower, she's trying to figure out what's going on and how Dolittle got there. And the young queen had to explain it, and it turned out to be a pretty interesting, fun little movie. And lots of twists and turns, lots of good animation, lots of good science fiction added to it, lots of good special effects. And, I bet they didn't really go sink a ship. They probably sunk a bottle. But it turned out to be a pretty good movie. How far into am I in this one? Oh, I'm a little longer. I must like this movie. Okay, this was distributed by Universal Pictures. It was out January 17th, 2020 in the United States. I don't know if they released it someplace else. It's not saying. Then it's 101 minutes long. It's United States, it's English, and then they spent somewhere between 175 to 192 million on this thing. They made 252 million, 252, god damn it, 251 million at the box office. Like I said, this is a pretty good movie, and it turned out to be a really interesting movie to watch, and I would recommend you go get it right now and put it in your collection. And if you've bought every movie that I've suggested, you've probably got 200 or 300 by now, or 2,000 or 3,000. Who knows how many I've got out, but you should really get this one. It's a good movie. It's worth watching over and over again. And it's really a pretty good movie. So that's pretty much all I got for this movie. So take care. Enjoy the credits at the end. They're all made up, and I just named cameras and everything else. Like I'm talking to Bob, and Mary Mouth is up above me listening to everything I have to say, and she's a microphone. That type of thing. I just have all kinds of fun names on there for it, so you'll have to figure out what it is. Anyway, so we'll talk to you later, and bye.